And so this will make it easier for CASPs or virtual asset service providers to expand their business and to provide their services in other member states.
So welcome to Crypto and Taxes, where we speak about crypto taxation and regulation. And today we have the pleasure to talk to Martinho Lucas Pires, who is the crypto lawyer and on European regulation level. So Martinho, welcome. Could you give a brief introduction about yourself?
Hello, Thomas. Thank you very much for having me here. So I'm a lawyer and a consultant at BlockReg Advisors, a consultancy firm dedicated only to the regulation of crypto assets. So we help basically, and it's my job basically to help clients moving on with licensing procedures in Europe related to crypto. And I'm also a law professor at Católica University in Lisbon.
Let's go into the virtual asset service provider license, the VASP license. Just to start off, because we just come from MiCA, there is a difference between a SASP, right, and a VASP.
Between a CASP, a crypto asset service provider, and a VASP. Yeah, well, there is. The VASP was what a lot of countries, before having any kind of centralized regulation on this, created in order to allow businesses in crypto assets to exercise their activity in a kind of more or less stable legal framework. In Europe, for example, most of the VASP licenses were created under AML rules. So, for example, in Portugal, the VASP license that is issued by is a VASP license only for AML purposes. So, crypto businesses or businesses that exercise an activity in crypto assets, which means basically exchanging crypto assets either to fiat or to other crypto assets, or transferring crypto assets or custodying crypto assets, they must, in order to exercise the activity to the public, so to sell these services to the public, they need to register with the Bank of Portugal for AML purposes. But this is not it's not a financial license, which MiCA, or let's say the CASP license is. For example, so if you have a VASP license now, for example, you register as a VASP in Portugal, if you register as a VASP in Portugal, you will not be able to offer crypto services in Spain, nor in Italy, nor in France, and vice versa. When MiCA comes into place, and depending on grandfathering rules, so meaning rules where prior VASPs, so prior entities that were registered as VASP, become or can have like a simplified procedure to become CASPs. An entity that is registered, for example, in Germany, can passport, which is an instrument in EU law that banks use, for example, Revolut, to provide banking services in other states usually uses this. So you passport your activity to another member state, which is a very simple process, much simpler than incorporating and registering your activity with the national regulator. And so this will make it easier for CASPs or virtual asset service providers to expand their business and to provide their services in other member states. Nowadays, you need to go, you register in Portugal, then you need to register in Lithuania, then you need to register in Spain, et cetera, et cetera.
So do I understand it correctly that VASP, it is just a name that every country is using the same way, but the rules are completely different, or at least they're different in every country. And the CASP is something that is an umbrella for all of Europe, right?
Yes, exactly. For all the EU, for all the European Union, yes.
And then when you already have the VASP license in any of the countries, you have a shortcut to get the CASP license of the European Union.
Yes, it will depend on how MiCA implemented, because those rules are going to be up for the member states. Some member states already said, I think France, for example, already said that yes. So if you're registered as a VASP in France, you'll be able to grandfather this to a CASP. Other countries are not, it's not yet clear. For example, in Portugal, it's not yet clear that by being a VASP, you need to go for a CASP. One thing that I suspect, at least in Portugal, that is going to make this difficult is because, again, when you register yourself as a VASP, you're registering for AML purposes. So what the Bank of Portugal is interested in knowing is what kind of AML system and compliance systems you have in place for example, onboarding clients, for transmitting transactions, or to flag suspicious transactions to the Bank of Portugal, et cetera, et cetera. That's why they are concerned. With MiCA, there are other concerns, for example, in terms of corporate governance, in terms of, for example, if you're a stablecoin issuer, your reserves, your business model, all of this. And so I don't see, like, let's say, an immediate system in Portugal, at least, where all VASPs, once MiCA comes into force, are going to become cast from one day to the other. Probably there's going to be, let's say, a period for adaptation or a simplified procedure. That's what I'm hoping for, at least. But I see it more in this way, yeah.
And is CASP already like fully finished? Let's say, is there already been given a CASP license, or that's only from next year?
That's only from when MiCA comes into force. So MiCA is going to come into force in next year. Part of MiCA regarding stablecoin issuers and stablecoins are going to come into force in 1 year, and then the rest is going to come in 1.5 years. So in end of 2024, beginning of 2025, we have MiCA full on applied.
Okay.
What usually is being recommended now is for companies, because you don't know how this grandfathering is going to happen, for companies to register themselves as VASPs in the member states that they think it's better, already to try to get an advantage since MiCA is coming, so they're already ready to start implementing the rules, because 1.5 years for all the rules to come into force, it's a long time. There are a lot of things that still need to be kind of specified by administrative authorities, such as ESMA and EBA, European Banking Authority. But there's already a lot that is clear, and so that institutions can already incorporate in their business.
Okay, and then if we go to the VASP license, let's just take Portugal as an example, because obviously you are from Portugal, you know those laws the best. What are the requirements in order to obtain a VASP license? Do you need to have a company? Well, you have to do a company because you're providing a service. So obviously this is a taxable event. So you need a company. Is there any other specific requirements that you need besides offering crypto services to apply for the VASP license?
Yeah, you need to have a law. No, basically, like, you don't have. It's not really nowadays like a banking activity. So meaning that you don't need to, for example, if you want to open a bank, you need to have some kind of or a financial company. One of the requisites is that the managers or the people dealing with the business have some kind of expertise in the business, you know. And here you have elements. You need to have basically a company. The law doesn't explicitly say that you really need to have a company, but if you read the law and interpret it systematically, it seems it's better for you to have a company, even for personal liability purposes. And it establishes also that you need to have the people in the company must have some kind of how to say this, kind of a status. A specific status, let's say. So basically, they shouldn't have like criminal records or anything like that.
Okay.
To exercise this activity, they have some kind of expertise to exercise the activity, but not in the same way as, for example, and let's say the review of this position is not as heavy as, for example, with a credit institution or with a financial institution. But the idea is, the idea of the regulation, and MiCA with the CASPs is going to bring that into force, is to make it closer to that. So to make a CASP kind of a financial institution in a way. So, but yeah, you need just basically to have a company, and you need to have kind of your business plan, a very well-established business plan. You cannot exercise activities before having the license. Okay. So you have to create the entity. You need to present the registry, and only when you're registered or when you have the license can you start providing services. And you also need to have let's say, not only the business plan, not only what you're going to do, in which jurisdictions are you thinking of offering your services also. or to clients in which jurisdictions you wish to offer your services, but also have situations, for example, plans on AML, internal compliance, internal controls for KYC, etc. It's a procedure that you apply. You have to register with Bank of Portugal. You need to submit the licensing, and then it can take a bit. The first licenses took like from 8 to 11 months. Nowadays, people say that some licenses are being a bit quicker. Let's say 6, sometimes 5 months, but there's still a lot because of the AML controls, because of this kind of strictness in wanting to have all the requirements in place. It depends, really. Well, like if people come and tell me like, how long will I take to have the license? Like I just say, look, usually they took like from 8 to 11. Sometimes they took a little bit less than 8, but I cannot give them a deadline. What I ask usually is that they have all the requirements in place, like clean requirements in place, everything ready, and ready also to discuss and to respond to answer to all the questions that the Bank of Portugal has.
Okay, and who can apply for this? First of all, you also stated that you cannot operate your business before you have this license approved. So
yes,
even if you're in the process, you cannot start business yet, only when it's fully approved, correct?
Yes, correct.
And who can apply for these licenses? Only lawyers, or can you also do it like as
no, the company can submit it. The company can submit this paper. Lawyers usually are brought up to help like devise this, because there's a lot of technical information on this regarding MEL, regarding compliance of the rules, regarding the controls that and the Bank of Portugal now also approved a new warning. Warning is kind of an executive order on specifying the AML requirements that companies must have and the controls they must have in attention to their business specifics. Like lawyers help in kind of devising this, helping the clients understanding what they have to do on this part. But you can do it by yourself. You don't need to have a lawyer to submit this to Bank of Portugal. But also then you also have to deal then with the Bank of Portugal dealing with yourself and discussing with you this, and a lot of these procedures, you're going to have some kind of dialogue with the people at the Bank of Portugal in order to understand, because they're going to ask questions like, what you're meaning with this? Maybe here you should change this to this, etc., etc.
Okay, and to finish off this interview, how can people reach out to you, or where can they follow you? Where do you want to be contacted?
Well, you can find me on LinkedIn, Martin Lucas Pires at the Block Reg Advisors. Our website is currently on maintenance. I hope that I don't know when you're going to publish this, but I'm gonna put it like this in the date. So I hope that in the week of 6th June onwards, the website is live, so that everyone can join in. I work at the fintech house in Lisbon. They have some really good happy hours between 5 to 6 on Thursdays. So if you want to have a chat or etc., I'm always happy to be contacted.
I'm definitely coming by. So thanks a lot for this interview, and I hope if anything changes or any interesting topics pop up, that we can contact you again.
For sure, Thomas. Whenever you want.
Thank you. Bye-bye.